My name is Tom Artrew, and I am here for the Missouri Veterans History Project. Today is Thursday, January the 25th of 2018. We are at the offices of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, 850 East Cherry Street, Suite A in Troy, Missouri. And I'd like to welcome our guest today, Emil, middle initial E, last name Smith, with a birth date of August the 25th, 1948. Emil, welcome, and thank you for agreeing to be part of our history project today.
Thank you.
Okay, so with us, besides Emil and myself, we have Mike Woods, who is our videographer today, and we have Jen Bentoncourt, who is acting as our scribe today. So Emil, why don't let's take you back as far as we can and go back to where you're first have your memories about your childhood, and tell me a little bit about your family, what it was like growing up, and we'll progress through your life from that.
Okay. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and we lived in South St. Louis until I went through high school and then went into the service in 66.
Okay. Did a particular neighborhood that you lived in South St. Louis?
Over on in Chippewa, and then went to Roosevelt High School over off of Gravel.
Okay. All right. Were you born at home?
Born in the hospital.
Okay. Which hospital?
I believe it was in Lutheran Hospital.
Okay. How about your family? What was your family composed of, your immediate family?
I had a half-brother and a sister, and my mom and dad lived in this St. Louis area until 1981, and then they moved to Florida and lived down there until they passed away.
Okay. What did your dad do for a living?
Well, he was handicapped mainly. He wore a brace because he had polio on his leg, and he couldn't do much. So he did odd jobs. He worked as a mechanic in a garage for just one person, and then he retired from doing that. And then they decided, because his son was my half brother, moved to Florida in 78, I believe, and got married and had a couple of kids. So my mom and dad wanted to go down there and see the kids and be with them while they grew up. So they moved down there.
Okay. Did your mother work outside the home?
She did for a little bit after we were old enough to be on our own. She did odd jobs and worked at a restaurant right there close to home, but mainly she stayed at home.
Okay. Where were you in relation to your brothers and sisters? Were you older? Were you young? Second oldest? Okay. Yeah. All right. So you mentioned the name of your elementary school. What interest did you have in any particular subject when you were in school?
Not too much, just about, the basic.
Okay. What do you remember about your family activities while you were growing up? Did you guys have any traditions or anything like that? Things that you did on specific days or activities that your family did as a group?
Well, we would go camping and outside of Union, in a little town called Rosebud. We'd go to a place, we'd go camping down there, we'd go fishing, and with his brother and sisters, sometimes we all get together and go different places, go camping and fishing.
Okay. Did they live close in the area where you live, or live in the St. Louis area?
His sister lived out in Lima area, and his brother lived in Afton area. And then his other brother, until he passed away, lived in Florissant.
Okay. So did you participate in any activities while you were in school? Did you participate in sports, music, anything like that?
Yeah, I played in sports. I like to play ball. And when I was in high school, I did swimming classes and played basketball and stuff like that.
So what, besides any other team sports besides basketball?
And baseball.
Okay. All right. So what kind of activities were you, do you remember some of the things that you did?
Well, as my sister and my brother, sometimes we'd play ball back where we lived at, and we'd play ball or basketball or kickball or baseball.
Did you have a big backyard?
No, we lived off of, all it was in back was an alley. So
did you play in the alley?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So where did you go to junior high school?
I went all the way through 8th grade at.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, and that was, back then was like, and then Roosevelt is where I first started high school.
Okay.
First year through 4th.
Okay. All right. So, what was your favorite subject when you were in high school?
Oh, I like science and math.
Were you good in those subjects?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Which did you prefer, math or
Science.
okay? What interested you about science? Were you just curious about how things worked or that type of thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Different things.
Did you do any extracurricular activities? Did they have a science club? You said you played some sports. Anything else that you participated in?
No, outside of going, their track and swimming and at the high school. Excuse me.
Sound like you were pretty active.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when you graduated from high school, did you have an idea about what you wanted to do?
Not at first. I was able to wanted to go into service and get it over with instead of some people wanted to be the dice drafters.
Okay.
But I didn't want to do nothing like that. I wanted to go in and serve my country.
Okay. Well, it looks like you went in pretty soon after you graduated from high school.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And did you have any friends in your neighborhood or people that you grew up with that you guys went in together or anything like that, or did you just kind of go on your own?
I just went on my own mainly.
Okay. Was the recruiter a little surprised that you came in and wanted to volunteer rather than being drafted?
Well, they did send me the papers to be drafted.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I went down and volunteered. So,
Rather than being drafted.
right, instead of being drafted.
Okay.
And I went in earlier than the normal time they wanted me to go.
Okay. All right. So tell me what you remember about the process of going into the military then. How did that work for you?
It went pretty good.
Okay. Was there an induction center here in St. Louis?
Yes, town.
Okay. Were your parents encouraging about you entering into the military?
They were glad I did
Uh-huh.
go in and serve my country.
Okay. Any other members of your family had they been in the military at all?
No. My brother did try to go, but it didn't work out for him because of health problems he had.
I see. Okay.
So he wasn't able to go in. So I was the only family member.
Okay.
I know, right?
Okay.
How long?
Sometimes I know when I went in, it was like a 2-day process. We went in one morning and did stuff all day long and then stayed overnight and then finished up the next day and then took off for basic training then after that.
Yeah, it was probably a couple of days. I don't remember that so far back.
Okay. So, and you for your basic training, you went to Fort Leonard Wood. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Pretty close to home.
Right.
Yeah. Had they put you on a bus and bus you down there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So how long were you at Fort Leonard Wood then?
6 or 8 weeks.
Okay.
Whatever it was for basic.
All right. What did you like being close to home?
Yeah.
Okay. Although you didn't get a chance to come back home on weekends. Huh?
Right. But that was all right. And I was able to, when I was done with basic, it was right before Christmas and was home for Christmas and New Year's. And I went to the AIT,
Okay.
which was up in Minnesota.
Okay.
I was at a Nike base. And then from there, I went to Vietnam.
Okay. So let's go back to basic training. Any stories that you want to tell about your days at Fort Leonard Wood through basic training? Anything you're interested in telling your family about?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. So did you have a choice about what occupation you were going to do when you were in the service, or did they just assign you to one?
They just assigned me to one.
Okay. And so what was your specialty?
I was a cook.
Okay. All right. And you said you went to Minnesota after New Year's?
Right.
Oh, wow. In Minnesota in January.
Which was a cold day and snow was deep because it just snowed quite a bit. And there was about 6 or so of us that showed up that same day, and they gave us shovels and told us to go out there and shovel snow.
Welcome here.
Right.
The only cook then on the Nike site?
No, there was others, and there was about 4 or 5 of us that I can recall. Then I did training there, and then I went up to the other Nike base out of Wisconsin. I believe it was a little town called Roberts, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then I was there until they set me to go to Vietnam.
Okay. Do you remember when they sent you to
It was in about the middle of 67.
a little bit under a year then, not quite a year?
Right.
Okay. All right. So, when you went to Vietnam, where did they station you?
In a little town called Queen.
Okay. Was it a fairly big base?
No, not really. It was an MP base
Okay.
for military police. And there was about 4 or 5 of us cooks for a couple hundred people.
And was your kitchen open 24 hours, or do you have specific hours that you were open?
No, I think it was just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then after that, the kitchen was closed,
Okay.
that I recall.
Okay. What did you do after you finished working in the kitchen then during the day?
Go back my bunk and sit there and either read or go to sleep,
Okay.
depending on what time of the evening.
Okay. A lot of people coming and going from your base as far as the military police was concerned.
Yeah,
What kind of duties were the military police doing?
making sure things were safe around the camp and around the town area and that, we weren't too far from the town.
Was the town very large?
Not that I recall.
Yeah.
It was pretty much peaceful.
Okay. Did you go into town at all?
Yeah, a few times. I didn't go there very often.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to go on R&R while you were stationed there?
No. What had happened is I had hurt my back, and they had put me in the hospital. And then I wasn't really over there that long before they sent me to the hospital. And I was there for a month. Then they sent me to Japan to do a surgery on my back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'd spent about 4 months or so in the hospital. They didn't let me go back to now.
Oh, really? Okay. They just kept you in Japan?
They kept me there, and then they sent me back to the States.
Okay. All right. Did you do something to hurt your back, or?
I don't recall.
Okay.
And then, so they sent me back to the States, to Denver, Colorado. I spent time there about a month. And then they sent me back to back to Fort Leonard Wood to finish up my time,
Okay.
which I had about 5 months left.
Okay. Were you still working in the kitchen then when you were in Colorado?
No, I didn't do nothing while I was in the hospital.
Oh, really? Okay. So you were just rehabilitating after surgery then?
Right.
Okay. What about when you went back to Fort Leonard Wood then? Did they put you on active duty then again? Or
Yeah.
Or were you on partial duty?
Partial duty.
Uh-huh.
And then I'd do guard duty and stuff like that,
Okay.
and work in the motor pool sometimes. So I really didn't do much. It was all light work
Okay.
until my time was up to get out.
Okay. Were you able to come home to see your folks then on weekends, since you were doing light duty and so forth?
Yeah, not every weekend, but some weekends I could go home.
Okay. Any interesting stories that you had from your second time there at Fort Leonard Wood?
Not really. I don't know too much.
Okay. All right. So you finished then your 2-year military career, and you were discharged at Fort Leonard Wood then. And where did you go then? Come back home to St. Louis?
Right.
Okay.
Worked in plants, different time, odd jobs.
You have a kind of a long career at one particular job, or?
No, because I still had trouble with my back and couldn't do a lot of work.
Okay.
That, I was able to stay on my feet or not, like that. So, but excuse me.
Okay. So what were the jobs that you had here in the St. Louis area?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, did you have any particular job that held a lot of interest for you, or that you really, really liked?
Well, there was a couple of jobs I liked. That wasn't some that, like, I worked at the last job I had when I was laid off was a sandpaper company in O'Fallon.
Okay.
I was there for 6.5 years.
Okay. What were they manufacturing the sandpaper?
Yes. And I was a forklift driver and did odd jobs in the plant.
And so where were you living then during these times that you were working? Did you live with your mom and dad, or
No.
did you have a place?
I had my own apartment.
Uh-huh. So where was that? That was in St. Louis area too?
Right. And then I moved out of St. Louis area in 76 out by the airport and lived out there, and then moved out to Wright City, which I live now. Moved there in 85.
Okay. How come Wright City? Just trying to get away from the city? And
Yeah, well, when I met my wife, I was living there out by the airport area, St. Anne's, and we lived in a little small trailer there. And then we bought a newer trailer and moved it to O'Fallon. And then from there, we wanted to get it farther out of O'Fallon. So the only place we could get is out there where we're at now in Wright City.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you ended up meeting your wife.
I met my wife through this club called Parents Without Partners.
Okay.
They're in St. Anne. Went with her, and we got married in December of 1980. And we lived there in St. Anne area for 4 years until we moved to O'Fallon, and lived in O'Fallon a year and then moved to Wright City.
Okay. All right. Do you have any children?
She has a son, and her and I adopted our daughter.
Okay.
Excuse me. And my wife passed away in 07.
Okay. All right. Do your children live around here?
The stepson lives in New Florence, and I don't know where my daughter's at.
Okay.
She's over somewhere in St. Louis area. I haven't seen her for a while.
Okay. Do you see your son often?
My stepson? Yeah.
Your stepson?
I have one son by my first marriage, and I lost track of him when he was 19, and then found out where he lived at about 4 years ago, and been able to be in touch with him now.
Good. So does he live out
He lives down in St. Louis, down off of Gravel.
Wow. Okay. So you don't have to travel too far to see him?
No.
Okay. Grandchildren?
Yes.
Okay.
Got 7 grandchildren. The oldest one is 17, and the youngest one's 6 months. And I'm raising the 6-month one and a 10-year-old son. Yeah, I'm raising 2 of them.
Really? Wow.
And my fiance's daughter has the other 4. Yeah. And the one I'm raising is 10. And the newest one's 6 months.
Wow. So I don't need to ask how you spend your day. I'll bet. So probably not much time for hobbies then, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I still do I do the flea markets during the summertime.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular ones that you like to go to?
Winsville, I set up out there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Now, is that the one that's there by the senior center behind the Catholic Church?
Right.
Okay. All right. So do you have a booth?
Yeah.
There?
I got a permanent booth.
Okay.
I share with a friend of mine.
Okay. And then what is it that you guys are marketing?
Different stuff.
Okay.
Nothing in particular.
Okay. Just whatever you find a good deal on and think you can turn it over and make a few dollars?
Yep.
Okay. Where do you go to buy your items?
Garage sales, some auctions. There ain't too many of them around anymore, but
No.
usually go yard sailing them in Winsville or Thornton, and I enjoy doing that. I've been doing that for quite a few years.
Really? Okay. So how long have you had your permanent booth there in Winsfield?
With my friend, I've been with him in that permanent booth for about 5 years or so, 6 years, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, you guys must get along pretty good then.
Oh yeah.
You guys go and yard sale together and
Yeah.
purchase together?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of really not your hobby, but what you like to do.
Right.
Any other activities that you like? You like to go camping with your grandkids, go fishing?
Oh yeah.
Where do you guys go camping?
Well, I did have a place outside of Fulton, and a couple of years ago I sold the lots. The year before last, I believe it was. And now we went to Colorado last summer and camp for a week. And then mainly I'm staying home, keeping busy with the grandkids.
Did you do tent camping or?
No, got a pop-up camper.
Okay. All right. That helps.
Yeah, that's better than sleeping on the ground.
Understand that. Okay. I was looking at your bio here and see if there's anything else that we hadn't covered, but I think that just about takes care of it. At the end of the interview, I always leave an opportunity if there's anything that you want to say to your family or people that are going to watch your DVD. This is a good opportunity for you to say anything that you'd like to say to them and share with them. Okay. So, and then once you're finished with that, then we'll go ahead and conclude the interview. Okay. So if you've got something you want to say, you can just go ahead and do it now.
Well, I hope they enjoyed the CD of my life history, and I don't know what else to say.
That's good enough. So on behalf of the Missouri Veterans History Project and the people of the United States, let me say thank you for your service, and we appreciate you coming in and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
Okay.